Yo, let's get into it. We got to talk about something for a second. America is anti-natalism. No, I don't. What up, Cynical One? How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing? But America is anti-natalism, and America has a low maternal IQ. Right? These women are not thinking about having babies in their prime. They are thinking about hitting the club, being on OnlyFans, being in these streets. They are thinking about being in the light of Lucifer rather than being the light of God. They're not trying to do what's needed to be done to make America great again. The women in America have a low maternal IQ. These women would rather be social media stars than mothers. You see, what up, Seneca? When you say, all right, yeah, and yourself, Pastor, yeah. Not everyone should have a baby in their 20s, early 30s. Yes, they should. Because if you are having a child in your late 30s or 40s, you have low maternal IQ. You're trying to have Benjamin Button babies, right? Black Benjamin Button babies. And we don't need that in the community, and we don't need that in American streets. We need, see, when we talk about IQ is not just a genetic issue. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to go through the bell curve. We're going to go through it again. Genetic IQ is not, well, IQ is not just a genetic thing. They're saying that it has a tie to social economics. So when y'all out here getting pregnant by Pookie and Ray Ray and these dope dealers and men that y'all think have money for the time, they don't have money for the long being, which is social economics. There's been very few drug dealers that have put their children through college. Very few drug dealers have actually put their children through school and through college. They have low social economic, they have low paternal IQ. But we're not going to argue about paternal IQ because y'all think because a hood nigga get 5 women pregnant and have 5 kids, he has a high paternal IQ. High paternal IQ is different. Having a high paternal, having a high father IQ is having children that you can provide for and give the best life to. You know, the world does not look at a begging father the same way they look at a begging mother. But we're gonna stay on the we're gonna stay on topic though. What up? What up? Auntie, what up, do Auntie? What it do? What it do? I seen y'all over there doing y'all breakdown of the manosphere. I love that shit. I didn't want to interrupt it, so I just watched from the clouds and this watch from the clouds. But yeah, what up, do Auntie? But we're gonna stick on maternal IQ. A lot of niggas had dumbass mamas, right? A lot of niggas had slow mothers. Slow mothers that birthed them into a situation where they were not able to expound on their talents, right? So let's get into the bell curve. We're gonna read this book, right? Poverty among children, the role of the mothers IQ. And this is not me being some manosphere nigga. I'm telling y'all, this is not me being a manosphere nigga and hating women. This is me reading literature, something that y'all say that black men don't do. Y'all say we don't read. And a lot of this is not even going to have anything to do with black women as it's written, but it expands to you as black women, indigenous women, Mexican women, Asian women, all women that are entering the maternal IQ in America. So check this, right? So poverty among children, the role of the mother's IQ. What up, Gen X? What does IQ add to this picture? It allows us to focus sharply on who is poor and why, and the dispense with a number of mistaken ideas. To see how, let us consider women. Let us consider women. This is a book, right? I'm not being a manosphere nigga. I'm reading a book, right? It was written in the 80s. So to see how, let us consider women, and specifically women with children. Here is the graph that results when we ask how often mothers with differing IQ and differing family structures suffer from poverty. So they switch real quick from IQ and intelligence to poverty. So the women are having impoverished and illegitimate children that cannot reach. See, the reason why the little boys can't read, because y'all have them with impoverished men that can't read. Y'all think that the dope boy, the player, the pimp, the hustler, y'all think he has social economics. And we deal with this on social media, right? Y'all think that a guy on social media has so much money that you should get knocked up by him. Women have gotten pregnant and have married men from social media because y'all think because of his clout, he has actual social economic standings to give your children a sufficient education so that their IQ isn't questioned. So if the child's IQ is questioned, then the mother's IQ should be questioned on who she got pregnant by, not allowing the child a chance to have a social economic standing to get a good education. This is what this book is saying, pretty much, right? The effects of the social economic background are held consistent, and as are the numbers of children which are factored into the calculation of the poverty line. The first glaring point of the figure is that marriage is a powerful poverty preventative. Marriage is a big poverty. It's a powerful poverty line preventative. So the quickest way to have a low IQ child is to have it out of marriage, out of wedlock. That's what it's looking like. And to have what we call an illegitimate child, a child from a late night at the club, a child from freedom and fun might breed low IQ. The first glaring point of the figure is that marriage is a powerful poverty preventative. And this is true for women, even in the modest cognitive ability. So even stupid women, I mean, not stupid women, barely smart women know that they can raise the IQ of their children by having a stable home and marriage. This is crazy, man. This is crazy when you read this. A married white woman with children who is markedly below average in cognitive ability at the 16th percentile, say one standard deviation below the mean from an average social economic background, had only a 10% of probability of poverty. So they're saying that they're saying that a below average white woman at one point that was not very smart could get married and have children and raise the IQ of herself and her children just by the social economics of marriage. That is crazy. That like I didn't say this. I'm reading this right. The second point of the graph is that to be without a husband in the house is to run a high risk of poverty. Even if the woman was raised in an average social economic background. So even if the woman came from a little bit of money and she started having children on her own without a husband, they were more likely to have a lower social economic background. Single mother children might miss school a little bit more than children that have a father in the home. You know, well, I don't know. We're gonna have to look into this, right? Such a woman with even an average IQ ran a 33% chance of being in poverty. An average IQ woman, a woman with an average maternal IQ at one point only received a 33% poverty line. And now you look at so many educated women that want to have children later in their age in the poverty line as single mothers. This is just nasty work. If she was unlucky enough to have an IQ of only 85, she had more than 50% chance, five times as high faced by a married woman of identical IQ of social economic background. So if a woman had a 85 IQ and was kind of smart, she could do better than a woman. She had a 50% chance of doing better than a woman with a high IQ that wasn't married and had children. This is crazy. Even a woman with conspicuously high IQ of 130 was predicted to have a poverty of a 10% if she was a single mother. Whoa. Whoa, shit. Whoa, shit. So even the PhDs, the 130s, the women with the high IQs, the PhDs still had a 10% chance of becoming in poverty, even if they had an IQ of 130 without a husband. This is just nasty work when you come down to IQ building and building and family dynamics, which is quite high compared to white women in general. Perhaps surprisingly, it did not make much difference which of the three kind of non-marriage, separation, or divorce, right? Non-marriage, separation, or divorce, or non-married at all was involved. The results of all three groups of women were drastically different, and the results for married women and quite similar to other, right? So married women did better, whether they were separated, divorced, they did better than non-married women. The third obvious conclusion is that IQ is extremely important in determining poverty among women without a husband present. A poverty rate of 10% for women with IQs of 130 may be high compared to some standards, but it is tiny compared to the steeply rising probability that poverty that characterize women with below average cognitive abilities. So pretty much lower. So even though high cognitive women can be single mothers and still potentially suffer from poverty, it's nothing like the average IQ woman that doesn't have a husband and thinks she's not going to live in poverty and have children. So a lot of women are average at best. So they need to take their average at best IQ and get married in it for the betterment of their children or not. They might probably have stupid children, especially in today's time. Poverty among children, the role of the mother's social economic background. So you got to stop getting poor women pregnant with low maternal IQ. Got a lot of low maternal IQ poor women running around this country. Now we pursue the same issue, but the terms of social and economic background. Remember the steep downfall curve in the figure above for unmarried mothers is the effort of IQ after holding a social economic status constant. What is the role of the social economic background after we take IQ into account? We use the same scale on a vertical axis in both of the preceding graphs to make a comparison with IQ easier. The conclusion is that no matter how rich and how well educated the parents of the mother might have been, a separated, divorced, or never married white woman with children of an average IQ will still be looking at a 30% chance of being below the poverty line. So what you think it's going to do to you? What you think it's going to do to black women and indigenous women and Mexican women? If white women can get married, separated, and divorced, and that caused their children to have a steep declination in their children's IQ, then that means that marriage and staying together probably means more to the brains of our children more than how we feel as parents about each other. This is some of the craziest work. People are going to have to figure out how to stay together so that the children won't have such broken brains and have a higher IQ. I think that marriage is the way that we raise the IQ of the country. We cannot even be sure that the higher social economic background reduces the poverty line rate for unmarried women after the contribution of IQ has been extracted. The downfall slope of the line plotted in the graph does not approach statistical significance. There are fewer arguments to bring cognitive ability into analysis for social problems. Consider the hundreds of articles written about poverty among children, about the effects of single parent families on poverty. Of course, these are important factors. Children are more often poor than adults. Family breakup is responsible for a major portion of the increase in child poverty. So getting divorced is going to is a high likely that your child can live in poverty from a divorce or separation, which will lower their IQ. But analysis are trying to understand the high rates of poverty among children. It must be done against the background that whatever the factors increase the risk of poverty among unmarried mothers, They hit unmarried mothers at low levels of intelligence much harder than they do those of high levels of intelligence, even after social economic background is held constant. So no matter what we have to do, we have to find women that have a higher level of IQ. We have to find women that have a higher maternal IQ. Now, will women with PhDs and master's degrees and bachelors in arts and bachelors in science, will these women have a higher IQ that can yield better children if they stay married? If they stay married. But men, we have to stop going for the low hanging, low maternal IQ. What we are considering maternal IQ is sexual IQ. A lot of these women have a high sexual IQ, not a high maternal IQ. So therefore, they're not trying to raise the best families under the best um family structure that will give their children the highest level of IQ that child can reach. They're trying to reach a sexual orgasmic level of IQ. See, the sexual IQ has taken over America. America has a high sexual IQ. The American woman has a high sexual IQ, but she does not have a high maternal IQ. She's not talking about social economics and family building. This is the reason why Planned Parenthood had to come into the hood and help these women. Unfortunately, it's nasty work. It's nasty work. It's nasty work because the women, because Margaret Sanger and even when they was trying to sterilize, even though trying to sterilize women in North Carolina, they were trying to sterilize those women based on the belief that these women had. When they were trying to sterilize women in North Carolina, they believed these women had a low maternal IQ. When they brought Planned Parenthood to the hood, it was because they thought you women had low maternal IQ and you would only breed social economic poverty. And they understood how social economic poverty led to undereducated children that could not read and could not do basic mathematics and could not analyze or problem solve in a complex, continuing, progressive, digitalized society. This is the reason why they tried to keep black people poor, because they knew that social economics is completely tied to education. Y'all have a blessing. And the women of America, get your maternal IQ up. I'm not telling y'all to be gold diggers, but y'all got to start having a higher maternal IQ and thinking about a better social economic environment and family dynamics for your children rather than what y'all have been doing. And I will later on, I will talk about paternal IQ. I will talk about us as fathers and how we need to make sure that we are in a social economic background to give our children the best education and the best standards of life that we could possibly give with our paternal IQ. But right now, I got to smash on the women real quick. So I got to SBE the women real quick. So women, y'all get y'all maternal IQ up. Y'all slacking.